Welcome to Cut the Crop, keeping you in the know about everything you grow. Researchers, growers and other interesting folk delivering insights and information on topics ranging from agronomy to profitability. Brought to you by the Foundation for Arable Research.
Hello and welcome. My name is Alison Stewart and I'm your host for this session of Cut the Crop. And today we've got Philippa Rawlinson with us. Hi Philippa, how are you?
Alison. I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, so Philippa's the National Coordinator of our Growers Leading Change programme. And I guess for those who have been under a bush for the last 2 years, we probably should start off by talking about what is Growers Leading Change before we talk about all the exciting things that you've been doing for the last 2 years.
Wow, thank you, Alison. FAR's Growers Leading Change program was set up obviously by FAR and MPI 2 years ago. It's a model of knowledge exchange, allowing growers to learn with and from each other. And the ways they do this is they form what we call an Arable Growth Group, which is an arable discussion group. They set the topic, and then we have a facilitator who works with them to flesh out the activities and outcomes that the group wants to achieve over the following 12 months.
So we've been up and running for 2 years. I can't believe it. I mean, it's just gone so quickly. So what have we done in that 2 years? How many arable growth groups are up and running and what are they doing? And do you think that it's working?
We have 15 arable growth groups, which I'm absolutely over the moon about, covering many very diverse topics all around New Zealand. We've got 2 alternative N groups, one in the Waikato testing alternative N products on maize grain and maize silage crops, and another one in Canterbury testing amino on maize cereal crops in Canterbury. And we have a group here in central Canterbury. They're called our Biological Injectable Group, which I think you've had quite a bit to do with.
Yes.
And they are wanting to test out biological injectable products against conventional products. And they've got one of their activities has been to build a machinery handbook for growers if they want to build a biological injectable system. And this group has got three different options, and we're going to have the resource book out shortly. It's with the print team at the moment, just getting the final tick off. That group's been doing a whole heap of things. They've got on-farm tryouts, and this year they're testing trichoderma against conventional seed, and hopefully we'll have the results of that come spring, and Donna's very busy with that group doing that. We also have a new group in Canterbury. They're our future farmers. They're a young group of MEFIN growers looking at they're looking ahead and they want to know how they're going to farm in the future with the environmental and other legislation floating around. So the activities that group is doing is one of their planned things is to go and see an expert in greenhouse gas emissions and learn more about the pending legislation and then what they can do to meet that or mitigate that. That's a new group. They've also been out to visit a grower who's tried lots of different crop options. So and they're learning from him what works and what doesn't work, and if they want to try something different, what things they need to do. And we have a national value add group, and that group is that's our oldest group, one of our oldest groups, and they are a group of farmers who are doing value add stuff. So we've got Rob Auld in Southland who's got the whiskey, and Blair Drysdale who's got the hemp, and those guys are looking at learning about how to take their businesses from here up to here and kick them on. Those are a few of our groups.
So you mentioned Donna. She's one of our facilitators. So how many facilitators have we got?
We've got 5 facilitators based all throughout New Zealand. We've got Sally looking after our groups in the Waikato. We've got John who's looking after 3 growth groups and 2 pathfinders in the Lower North Island. We've got Donna who's looking after the groups in the central Canterbury. Kath, who looks after our groups in North Otago / South Canterbury, and we've got Tony who looks after the groups in Southland, and he's got our value add group. And then there's me looking after them, making sure that they're coordinating them and making sure they're doing what they should. It's a really cool wee team. We all complement each other well, and they are amazing people. I love watching them do what they do.
And you mentioned Pathfinder Farms.
Yep.
So in addition to the Arable Growth Groups, we've got how many Pathfinders now?
We've got 3 Pathfinder farms, and these are our arable demonstration farms. So these are different from the growth groups in that these are demonstration farms where FAR supports the growers who are wanting to try something new and innovative, which is a little bit out there. And we, FAR, provide the scientific and other support as required. We've got 3 of them. We've got Hugh Dalrymple in the Lower North Island, and his Pathfinder is looking at testing new methods of technology on soil testing. And we've got Dion Fleming in the Lower North Island, who's wanting to use a drone to sow cash crops and standing maize. Unfortunately, we missed the planting window this year to get that Pathfinder up and going, but we have got all our ducks in a row this year, so we will definitely hit the planting window next year. And of course, we've got Andrew Darling in South Canterbury, and he's looking at tools to validate his decision making around end use and give him the confidence to cut back. We've just had 2 field days at Hughes and Andrews at the end of September, and these were really well attended. At Hughes, there was a vast array of technology on show for growers to look at.
You talk about field days and things. I mean, one of the things about Growers Leading Change is that, I think you've done about 100 events. I mean, it's incredible, with the resources that we've got, that you've been out and about engaging, with a wider group of growers in the regions.
Yeah, it's incredible the amount of events the facilitators have been able to run over the past 12 to 18 months, given the context that they've been working in. I think they have done well over 100 events, and these can be face-to-face meetings that the growers have had where they've got in an expert to talk to them about something related to their topic. They are in-region field trips and out-of-region field trips. They are supporting the growers as they run their on-farm tryouts. There are so many events and so many things that they've been doing, and feedback from the growers is they really love the opportunity to get out of the region or out of their areas and have a look at other growers' farms and see what they're doing. They also love being able to learn off each other, so going to each other's farms in the growth group and standing around a piece of machinery and talking about the machinery.
There's usually about 10 growers in each of the groups.
Yeah, so there are 10 to 12 growers or rural professionals or rural businesses involved with each of the groups. I think our smallest one is 4, and that's our Altian project in the Waikato, and one of our largest one is 18, and that's one of our grassweed group in South Canterbury and our soil quality group in Mid Canterbury. Then those are quite big groups, but they really work best with between 10 and 12 growers.
Yeah, and I know, FAR has always been challenged over the years that we've been a little bit Canterbury-centric, and one of the reasons that we set this, Growers Leading Change programme up was to try and get, sort of engagement with growers in the different regions. Do you think that we're making good progress in that?
Extremely good progress. We've got 4 growth groups set up in the North Island with the possibility of another 2, hopefully. We're looking at talking with growers in Gisborne. We've had a preliminary meeting with them to flesh out some ideas around some potential topics. Unfortunately, they've got a bit tied up with work at the moment, so we'll go back up there in the new year and have another chat with them. But they're committed to setting up a discussion group, which is really encouraging for us up there. There's also the possibility of setting another group up in the Lower North Island, and we'll work with local growers on that one. And then, of course, we've got 2 in Southland, one in North Otago and one in South Canterbury. And I think it's great that we're out of Canterbury.
Oh, absolutely. And I know that when I've been going around doing the regional meetings that we have with our ARGs, I know that when we first came up with the idea about Growers Leading Change, some of the growers were a bit sceptical. They didn't necessarily think that this was going to add value. And I know when I'm going out now and talking to those regional grower representative groups, we're getting a lot of really positive feedback about Growers Leading Change. So what do you think are the best things about Growers Leading Change? Like, why do you think that it seems to be working and the growers are enjoying it?
It's such a cool wee thing, even from where I'm sitting. It's grower-led. It's not us telling them what they want to do. It's them telling us what they want to do, and we're the ones working behind the scenes to make it happen. And I think that is the best thing. They're also having the opportunity to test things on farm in the form of a tryout with our support, or with support from the FAR research team, or with support from external industry experts. by far and away, that is the best thing about this. It's 100% grower-led. It's not us telling them what to do. It's them telling us what to do, and we implement it.
Yeah. So how many growth groups can we handle? Like, is there still opportunity to have more growers in more regions wanting to get involved?
Absolutely. There is plenty more capacity in the system to get more growers involved. As part of our S3E39 contract, we need to have another 6 by this time next year, and I think we'll get that. But we really need growers to contact us and stick their hand up and say, yep, this is such a cool concept, I want to get involved.
So just talk me through, like, if you're a grower listening, and you sort of think, I don't really know much about what this is, but it sounds like something, I mean, not at this moment in time because they're all in the middle of getting out there and doing things on farm. But, as they're mulling over things, if they come up with an idea, do they just contact you or one of the facilitators in their region?
No, they can either contact the FAR office or flick me an email on glc@far.org.nz with their potential topic or an idea, or even just expressing an interest in setting up a discussion group in your area. And then once you've done that, I'll get in contact with you and talk to you about some potential topics and whether there are other growers in the area who might be interested. And then we'll all link up and we'll have a first meeting. And one of the facilitators will come along, depending on where we are in New Zealand, and flesh it out a little bit more. And then the facilitator will flesh out what we've discussed in that meeting into what we call a growth plan, which describes the activities that the group may or may not want to undertake through the year. And once the facilitator's done that, they'll submit an expression of interest or a formal application to the team at FAR, and it'll go through our processes. So really, for growers who are interested or are sitting in the tractor listening to this thinking, oh, yep, no, that sounds real cool, send us an email and we can go from there.
And Growers Leading Change is not just about the Arable Growth Groups and the Pathfinders. I mean, you guys actually get involved in quite a range of other activities as well.
Yeah, no, August and September was a really busy period for us. There are some activities which we need to do beyond the growth groups and the Pathfinder farms, and we ran some sessions on production wise, which were through New Zealand, and we did some e-check sessions with growers. These were also around New Zealand, and the facilitators did those for us. We also had it's probably my favourite thing we did actually was 2 sessions with rural policyholders. We did one in Canterbury and one in the Wairarapa, where we invited people working in Wellington out to an arable farm to see what it is, what it does, and to give them the opportunity when they're making their policies or what the impact of their ideas would be on an arable farm. And for the one we had in Wellington, we got 50 to 60 people mainly from MPI, but we had some people from Beef and Lamb, Plant and Animal Health New Zealand, FMG and MPI, and it was such a cool wee day. The weather was a bit hit and miss, and we had to make the most of it. We went out and took them out and had a look at a paddock of crop, and then the grower got his massive tractor and planter out for them to all climb over and look at. And I think possibly the highlight of the day for everyone was watching the sheep run through the yards. Yeah. It was such a cool wee day.
It was. And the key thing there is the importance of that crop livestock integration in an arable system that a lot of people in Wellington just don't realise. And so we've just got to keep being able to tell that story.
And it was so awesome to be able to host that group of people without having to push a message or...
That's right. We're not lobbying for anything. We're just saying, hey, come and have a look at what we do.
Yeah, and this is us. This is what we do. Remember it when you're in the office and you're making decisions that could impact farmers.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was an initiative that was funded, by MPI through the S3EF programme. We've got another year to go, but obviously we in FAR think that it's something that we want to actually integrate into business as usual with FAR. Is that how you see it playing out?
Definitely. It's such a cool project, and I think it would be remiss of of all stakeholders, just to let it lie. We've got 12 months of the MPI contract, as you say, left to roll, and there'll be some big decisions being made over the next couple of months as to how we integrate it into FAR's business as usual. I think there are some great opportunities, and it's just for me to have a think about how we could do that, and then for some decisions to be made elsewhere about how that can be. But I think there's definitely opportunities, and some of our growth groups, have got projects going on that will go past the end of September, so we need to make some decisions soon to give them some certainty as well. But definite potential and exciting potential, because it's grower-led.
That's right. And I always remember when we started out thinking about this, we had a FAR conference that was called Research Leading Change. And I remember thinking, well, yeah, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to the grower. And then Anna and I talked about, well, why don't we have something that's grower-led? But what I think we need is both. We need to have FAR doing its research and putting that out there, and then we need to have growers wanting to pool things and then disseminating their knowledge to other growers in the region. So I think what it's going to do is it's going to allow FAR to rethink our entire knowledge exchange platform and how we communicate with growers and how growers communicate with other growers.
No, I agree.
Good. So anything else that you would like to say about how things have been going with Growers Leading Change?
I'd just like to applaud FAR, really. It's such a cool wee project, and to have the foresight to set something up like this, which is 100% grower-led. The growers love Growers Leading Change, and I'd encourage more growers to get involved because it is such a cool wee project.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Philippa. And thank you, listeners. Have a great day on the farm.
Thanks for tuning in to Cut the Crop, presented to you by FAR. If you'd like to know more about any of the topics discussed or have any suggestions for future topics, go to www.cutthecrop.co.nz.